It should be noted that the masterminds outside the country are all located in Côte d'Ivoire, including the aforementioned Bahare Abdrahman. The intelligence services followed the maneuver, which, according to the plan of the terrorist conspirators, was to culminate on Wednesday, April 16, 2025, in an assault on the presidency of Faso by a group of soldiers recruited by the enemies of the nation. The plot is actively continuing from their operations center in Abidjan with the objective of sowing chaos in Burkina Faso before the month of June. According to this shocking press release from Burkina Faso's minister in charge of security, the following revelations from Burkina Faso's intelligence services have just exposed a chilling betrayal, a coordinated plot involving military deserters, foreign actors, and terrorist leaders, all aimed at collapsing the country from within and placing it back under the grip of foreign control. This wasn't just an attempted coup. It was a full-blown scheme to dismantle a rising sovereign nation. And yet, it failed. Pay attention and listen all through for more details. You will be shocked. Press release. Several weeks ago, intelligence services intercepted multiple communications between an individual and terrorist leaders concerning details of the positions of the defense and internal security forces, the volunteers for the defense of the homeland, as well as military operations. After in-depth technical analysis, the individual was identified as Bahare Abdrahman, a known officer in the Burkina Faso Armed Forces. He was identified as belonging to the Military Justice Battalion. Information gathering within his unit of assignment enabled intelligence agents to discover that the officer had been in a situation of unauthorized absence for several weeks and was the subject of desertion proceedings. The surveillance of the communications of the deserter Lieutenant Barry Abdra revealed additional links of interest to the intelligence services, notably with an officer of the armed forces named Compaoré Joanny, a former non-commissioned officer of the Burkina Faso Army named Zerbo Lauko, an officer on duty at the Integrated Operations Center of Burkina Faso, Commander Ouedraogo Frederick, an armed forces officer on training in a European country, but a long-time deserter who had joined Abidjan under the name Caboret Constantin. The meticulous work of the intelligence services uncovered a large-scale plot being prepared against our country, whose ultimate goal was to sow total chaos with a view to placing the country under the tutelage of an international organization capable of regaining control in 10 or 20 years, according to the instigators. Sensitive information was passed to terrorists with the aim of increasing attacks against the fighting forces and civilians in order to incite revolt against the authorities. Furthermore, other strategies were developed to disorient the intelligence services in order to lead them to carry out mass arrests within the defense and internal security forces and thus hope to create frustrations and a sense of fear. Manipulation was also carried out through messages disseminated to unjustly target certain individuals and other messages sent to corps commanders to frighten them by indicating that they would be arrested as being on a so-called blacklist. Religious and customary leaders were solicited to convince certain officers to engage in this deadly mission. This was unfortunately the case for Captain Ouedraogo René David, currently at large. In the same vein, VDP, Volunteers for the Defense of the Homeland, were contacted to demoralize their comrades, and money was sent to them for this vile task. All these perfidious stratagems were developed for the sole purpose of destructuring the army and sowing chaos. The intelligence services followed the maneuver, which, according to the plan of the terrorist conspirators, was to culminate on Wednesday, April 16, 2025, in an assault on the presidency of Faso by a group of soldiers recruited by the enemies of the nation. This assault was to be carried out at the same time as several large-scale terrorist attacks to occupy the airfields, failing to be able to destroy the aircraft on the ground. A few days before the implementation of this diabolical plan, VDP and patriotic soldiers presented themselves to several services, notably intelligence and the presidency of Faso, to denounce the coup being prepared. These denunciations continued until Tuesday, April 15, 2025, and led to the arrest of the masterminds of the maneuver in Ouagadougou and others fleeing towards Côte d'Ivoire. It should be noted that the masterminds outside the country are all located in Côte d'Ivoire, including the aforementioned Bahare Abdrahman. The plot is actively continuing from their operations center in Abidjan with the objective of sowing chaos in Burkina Faso before the month of June. The intelligence services are continuing their surveillance actions and will keep national opinion informed of any developments in the situation. Several other implicated individuals are being monitored and will bear the consequences of their actions when the time comes. We invite the populations to remain calm and vigilant and to report any suspicious activity. As for the valiant fighting forces, we encourage them to continue their mission with determination while remaining vigilant. Homeland or death, we shall overcome.
Hi guys, Frank here, the face behind Uplifting Africa. I must say, this one is a tough one. But one thing is for sure, I strongly believe that, Africa will be free at the end of the day because we are fighting for a just cause. So, I had been hearing about this and I had been seeing videos about all these, but I couldn't just come up here and drop a video without actually getting the details or getting the information from the right sources. There's so much misinformation out there in as much as this movement is concerned, and I'll urge you to be vigilant. Know what you take in. Make sure that you get information from authentic sources. So now I've gotten this information from the right source, which is the Burkina Faso national television, and that's why I have decided to bring it to you guys. So with that said, you might consider becoming a member of Uplifting Africa for exclusive videos and perks. You are going to find the link in the description box, and you can also consider checking out their products that I have tagged on this video, and they will draw you closer not just to Burkina Faso but closer to this movement as a whole.